Hello. This video is basically about how Pearson can give us points for right from dictation. As we know, the right from dictation question of a Pearson test, which is part of listening module, this is a heavy weighted question. We get many points to both listening and writing modules. So today in this video, I'm going to tell you, how we can get points. If you write how, we get points. How Pearson assigns partial and full points. So right from dictation question, first of all, let's say this is our response is assessed considering three things. One is, the content is assessed considering your grammar, of course. So the sentence needs to be intact. So your response should not be faulted by Pearson tool from grammar perspective, right? There should not be any mistake as far as grammar is concerned. And second, most important thing is spell. Only if a spell is right, only then we get a point to your word, because every word carries a point in this question. But first is grammar should be intact. Then every word that is correct in with respect to spell, then we get a point. And the third one happens to be sequence, of course. So anyway, I will take some examples. I'll play a couple of few audios and then you'll understand. So people usually approach this question in three different ways. One is when they listen to a sentence, they keep memorizing and they will type in the response box on the day of the exam. And the second one is some people they have got this fear of forgetting, so they make a note of the first three words in their notepad, and they keep memorizing and they will type it because they have got some kickstart problems. And the third type is some of them write the last words in the notepad, and a few of them also do this, right? They write first of all on a pad with a pen faster because they feel they are more comfortable writing with a pen, of course, on a pad, and by looking at it they can type it. So first of all, let's see how this question looks like on the screen first. So this is how the question looks like, right? We get a response box, audio gets played, we listen to, and then there's no separate time for right from dictation. We know that, right? So this question is part of section 2 of the listening module. So we have got overall time for section 2. So we must do the previous questions in such a way that by the time you come to dictation, we have around 2 minutes time to do at least three questions. So Pearson dictates sentences one after the other, three sentences usually. Sometimes you might get four also. So maybe right from dictation. So usually, a sentence with a word range of, let's say, 8 to 13 words, sometimes rarely 14 words possible. And there is a huge contribution to both listening and writing modules. So one cannot take a chance. And students who are trying for admissions into universities across, they would need to at least attempt, 50% of the sentences properly in the way that I'm going to tell you now in my with an example. And people trying for 79s, you have to get most of the sentences right, of course, maybe at least 90 to 95% of the words you need to get them right. And also see that we have a partial score and we have a significant and we have full. Pearson usually can give you sentences which are called maybe simple sentences, complex. There are two sentences in one and a phrase followed by a sentence. For example, simple sentence means what? Subject first, verb, and then a group of words. For example, the chemistry lab is located in the ground floor. So the chemistry lab is a subject, is located, verb, and then a group of words. Simple. Simple does not mean short. Simple, in a simple sentence, we get subject first. Complex, two sentences in one. Phrase followed by a sentence. For example, despite criticism from the colleagues, the minister introduced the bill in the parliament. So despite criticism from the colleagues is a group of words that is called phrase. Then comes what sentence? Possible. And people who are not familiar, right, with the American accent, so they might find it difficult. So people would better become familiar by listening to various American accented tracks, right? Maybe you can find them in YouTube. So you can write either British or American spells. Numbers can be written either in words or in figures. So let's see. We will take an example now. I'm going to play an audio file to make people understand what are the different scenarios wherein your response can be assessed and how many points we can get and how do we lose points. So that also I can tell you. You can listen to this sentence now first.
You can request library books by using the electronic catalogue.
So after listening to the sentence, you know that this sentence is what? You can request library books by using the electronic catalog. And there are 10 words. And if you write 10 words, you get 10 points. All 10 words in the same sequence, and there's no grammar mistake, so we get points. And one thing, the other part is what punctuation. First, let's see that it's cap, and at the end, full stop. And maybe scenario number two, you can request library books by the electronic catalog. So what did I do here? Using, I have missed out one word. But even then, I'll get points. 9 points I'll get because 9 words in my sentence match with Pearson's sentence in the same sequence. But one word is gone, but grammatically, this is fine. My sentence is right from grammar perspective, it is right. Spell perspective. So any word that is correct with respect to Pearson's words, we get. Suppose if there are 9 words matching with the Pearson's sentence, 9 points will get if spell is right. Third scenario, maybe you can look at, you can request library books by catalog. So here, what did I do? I dropped 2 words because I could not understand. Maybe I could not remember. So I missed out using the. Even then, I'll get points because grammatically sentence is correct. So your response, as long as it is accepted by Pearson tool, AI tool, that it is grammatically correct, then after that, any number of words that are matching with the Pearson sentence, those number of points we will get. If 7 words are matching, we'll get 7 points. Some people also ask questions like, what can I maybe catalog? I don't know the spell, so can I write 3 4 words as spells? That is wrong because in a simple Word document, MS Word also, right, highlights it as an error. Right? In a sentence, you cannot write like that. That's a wrong approach. Right? Because when you are not sure, you will write word, and of course, if it is a catalog is a spell mistake, you will not get only for that word, right? Rest of the words we will get because that sentence is grammatically correct. Fourth scenario, maybe you can look at it. You may request library books by using the electronic catalog in this sentence. So instead of writing can, you wrote may, but rest of the words are correct. And you may request grammatically right sentence. So may will be looked upon as a spell mistake. So rest of the words we will get. Only may you will not get, that will be treated as spell mistake. So 9 points you'll get out of 10. Look at the fifth scenario. You use request library books by using the electronic catalog. So here, grammatically, the tool will not recognize this your response as a sentence. So you will all likelihood you will get 0 out of 10. And maybe if you look at the sixth scenario, you can request library books. Only first 5 words are correct, and 5 points you'll get because spells match and sequence matches. And grammar also, right? This is grammatically right sentence. Maybe look at the seventh scenario. By using the electronic catalog, you can request library books. 0. You cannot reverse the sequence for any reason. You cannot reverse the sequence of the sentence, right? Maybe can you look at listen to one more sentence?
Coursework and exams will form part of the annual assessment.
So after you listen to the sentence, so this is how the sentence looks like, right? Coursework and exams will form part of the annual assessment. That's the actual sentence. And imagine the first scenario wherein we have got 10 words, and if you write 10 words as it is, we'll get 10 points. But look at the second scenario. Coursework and exams will form the annual assessment, right? You missed out what part of. That's okay, right? So we'll get 8 points because your response will be recognized as a sentence first. And any number of words that match with the Pearson sentence with respect to spell, you will get those number of points. Coursework and exam may form part of the annual assessment. So here, instead of writing exams, you wrote exam. So that will be looked upon as what? Spell mistake. And instead of writing will, you wrote may. Grammatically, third scenario is correct. So exam and may will be looked upon as spell errors. So out of 10, you will get 8 points because other 8 words match with the present sentence. Grammatically, sentence is right. So your response will be treated as a right response by the tool. Look at the fourth scenario. Coursework and exams will be part of the annual assessment. So in this question, right, will form part of, right? Instead of writing form, you wrote what? Be. Even then, your response will be treated as a grammatically right response. So, but B will be looked upon as a spell error. So we'll get 9 out of 10 points. And if you look at the fifth scenario, coursework and tests will form part of the final assessment. Maybe annual you could not remember, right? Maybe, but you know that there is a word and you replaced with some other word. That's fine. But final may be looked upon as what? A spell mistake. So you will not get point to that word. Tests also will be looked upon as a spell mistake. but you replaced those words with other words because you know that there is a word and grammatically right sentence. But tests and final, these two words you will not get points from spell perspective. The rest of the words you'll get. So 8 words are correct, so we get 8 points. And look at this sixth scenario. Coursework and exams will form part. So that response of yours is what? Partially correct. So we get 6 points. That's a sentence. So right, number of words will match. 6 words will match with the person sentence. So 6 points you'll get. And coursework and exams will form part of the annual assessment. So if you look at the seventh scenario, annual, you could not write correct spell. Assessment also you could not write the correct spell. So you will not get points to those 2 words. But rest of the words you'll get because all those words are correct as far as grammar is concerned. Maybe look at this eighth scenario. Coursework and exams are form part of the annual assessment. So this is grammatically an incorrect sentence. So we will not be able to get points because the tool will not recognize your response as a sentence. Please listen to one more sentence.
There are new innovations in the field of digital architecture.
So after listening to this sentence, you know that this first sentence happens to be what? There are new innovations in the field of digital architecture. That's the actual sentence of Pearson, 10 words we have. So first sentence, first scenario, how we get points? Partially, fully, and zero sometimes. There are new innovations in the field of digital architecture. So first scenario, all words of yours, your response match with what? Pearson sentence. So we'll get 10 points. Maybe look at the second scenario. There is new innovations in the field of digital architecture. So we get zero because whenever a sentence starts with there, whether to use is or are depends on the next sentence, next word. Innovations is plural, so we get are. Innovation, suppose if it is, then we use new is, right? So grammatically, your response is going to be treated as a mistake, wrong. So we get zero. The tool will not recognize your response as a sentence. Then we cannot get points. And third scenario, there are new innovations in architecture. So here, 6 words of your response match with the Pearson sentence. So we get 6 points out of 10. And there is something called their innovations in the field of digital architecture. So your response will not be treated as a sentence because there's no verb at all. Without verb, right, sentence will not be looked upon as a sentence. Right, your response will not be looked upon as a sentence. Right. There are new innovations. So only 4 words, we get 4 points. And then there are new innovations in the field of digital architecture. So architecture, you wrote spelling wrong. That's okay, right? You don't get to a point only to that word. Rest of the words are intact. Grammatically, your response is treated as a right response. So we'll get points for spell. 9 words match with the Pearson sentence with respect to spell. So we get 9 points. Maybe look at the seventh scenario. There were new innovations in the field of digital architecture. Instead of writing or, you wrote the were. So or, so were will be treated as a spell mistake, but grammatically right sentence. So we get what? Maybe whatever the number of words we get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points we'll get. So we'll also, you can, in my next videos related to write from dictation, you'll also see frequently asked, dictation sentences. So anyway, we have classes like this. HSL's PTE training is offered in 3 different modes. One is offline classroom training, and we have online live, and the third one is mobile app, right? Both Apple and Android. So we are offering this course in 3 different formats. So for more details, you can contact. Thank you.